Hello Ratbags, it's Jade, welcome to Tribes of Midgard update video. These are the patch notes for Wolf 1.03. Wolf obviously being the saga season at the moment of the Wolf. I didn't cover the first patch that we had, as honest to God, it had so many bug fixes in it. I would have been here all year. But I do generally do this with games that I'm covering at the moment. I'll give you the update news and info you need to know, particularly if there's some new stuff that I really want to talk about. Now I've got to say the update for this patch isn't exactly that earth-shattering, but they have pretty much across the board made the game a little bit easier. Whether or not you're playing the game solo, multiplayer, in groups, whatever size, it all just seems to be a little bit easier. So I will go through some of this stuff and give you a little more thoughts about Tribes of Midgard. I'm actually meant to be on a holiday this week, but I have taken a little couple of hours out today just to do this video and talk about some stuff. But go and check out the rest of my Tribes of Midgard Let's Play content, showing you how I got a lot of stuff ready for my survival guides. And obviously check out my review as well, and a bunch of some other the big ones that are doing alright. I actually think the game's really good, as you will see if you see the review. I've definitely pointed out some things that I think need to be improved, and it looks like they're already doing a lot of what I suggested, and I'm sure a lot of you guys thought too. So do leave a like, check my channel out for the best in survival games news, guides and opinion. If it's coming out, I'll be the first to tell you. If it's appearing on launch day, I'll be the first to show you gameplay, and hopefully I'll be one of the first to give you some detailed guides. So this patch will be out already, judging by the side of things, on PC and on PlayStation as well. Maintenance should have finished by now, so you should be able to play. But if there are any more issues or worries, then yeah, it does look like you might have to wait just a bit longer, but it should be there. So in Saga mode solo, slight decrease to healthing, HP and armor. They've also done the same thing for creature HP, armor and damage values for groups of 2 to 3 players. I think this is important. Trying to do the Saga mode solo has still been a huge challenge. I know there's a few videos already pointing stuff out, but it does look like it definitely needed a bit of a nerf. I understand you don't want something easy, you don't want to go through the game in the first few days, but there's a difference between something artificially being hard and something that is just more of a challenge. Also in my review, I do point out that unless you're going to do exactly the same steps for pretty much every run, there isn't that much flexibility in how you approach and play Tribes of Midgard at the moment, especially in the Saga mode. So making things just ever so slightly easier at the moment for balance means there's more opportunities to try different playstyles or different ways to get through to day 15 or completing the actual raid boss. They've done the same thing for multiplayer, all group sizes, decrease to the healthing, HP and armor, slight decrease to Jotun HP, armor and damage, and they've also decreased healthing spawning frequency during the night. Out of them three, I would say the Jotun is probably the one that I didn't see too much of a problem. I understand that it gets really high. I've played it, I've done it. I was the first person, I do believe, to show a video completing the raid of the Fenrir with a bunch of the moderators from the Tribes of Midgard Discord. And we did have to bounce because it was simply too late to take on one of the Jotun, as its HP was up through the roof. But there we go. Let me know if you think it's a bit too much reducing some of these healths or making it a bit too easy. Something I also said was they've unlocked the survival mode for account level 2 now, down from 3. Honestly, I think they should just make it an option for everyone to choose straight away. Survival mode is pretty much the beginner's way of playing the game, and it kind of also offers the long play way of playing the game, more of a challenge to get to level 100 or 100 days or whatever it is. But the XP grind is so severe, even at the beginning, that it does take a good few hours even to unlock the survival mode. So yeah, well done, good idea to do it to level 2. But go the whole hog and just make it open from the start. They fixed an issue where XP rewards were pretty much being cheesed. There was an exploit that allowed players to earn a large amount of XP after immediately leaving survival games based on the world state. They've changed a big lot to do with durability on pretty much everything. Moderately increased durability for common, uncommon and rare weapons. Slightly increased durability for epic weapons. And I've done the same as well, moderately increased durability for all rarities of the bow. They do have a warning though that if you're in one of your games during the sessions that the updates dropped or whatever, you will have to start a new session to see the durability take effect. So if you're playing survival mode and you're not noticing any buffs or anything to do with the durability, you may have to start a new one. Repairing equipment, slightly reduced the amount of souls required for fixing broken equipment. Again, much needed. It was such a chore having to redo it. Most people will just craft new weapons or armor pieces instead. Moderately increase the chance of a healthing to drop souls when defeated during the night, so you're going to get more souls for completing each raid by the healthings. Plant harvesting, slight increase to the average amount of ingredients received when harvesting plants like mushroom oil to aid in potion crafting. A lot of the time it did feel like I've been ignoring it for sure, unless you're a particular type like the Hunter, which I find is one of the worst classes. It really was a struggle crafting enough stuff, particularly getting that mushroom oil, as I find that the biome that it's in doesn't kind of spawn as often as you would think in certain runs. Healing statues, the effigies will now heal per tick to 150 HP up from 100, so you'll get 1500 HP healed over time if you use one. Angrobar has increased the interval of a Dark Pool's ability to inflict damage every 1 to 5 seconds up from 1 second. So that pretty much means she's not going to be as powerful. You get caught in them 3 little pools and man, it's game over. So again, slight tiny little increases, pretty much making the game a little bit easier across the board. Classes, the Ranger, they've increased the base damage of the Ullr's step ability to 300 up from 200. That's a pretty big boost. And for the Guardian, they've increased the base damage of the Laws of Attraction ability to 400 up from 300. So yeah, making Guardian definitely one of my favourite classes and definitely one of the best. A few things you need to know about PC, particularly they've kind of made the base settings medium or high graphics. So they've got a limit of 60 now from unlimited. They've reduced the quality, the shadows, the anti-aliasing, texture and effects settings have all been set to high from Epic. And likewise, they've got the refresher for the essential section now every 24 hours down from 48. Clearly, some people with systems maybe not as beefy may have had some performance issues loading up the game at first. It fixed a bunch of issues where players weren't able to claim their rewards, but you will now have to recomplete certain challenge criteria to get the rewards that didn't unlock the first time. For challenges relating to the season level, players need only earn XP during a match for the missing rewards to return to a claimable state. Fix an issue affecting PlayStation users' ability to access the shift menus, you get some shift keys and stuff like that. Fix an issue where groups with combined player count exceeding 10 could join each other's matchmaking sessions. Instances of a player being stuck in a charged shot animation when using a bow have been fixed. An issue with the Warden runes stacking after returning to a save game has been fixed. An issue where players' records were not updated on the end results screen. They've also fixed an issue that allowed players to matchmake into sessions beyond day 3. Now for PS5 players, if you're wondering what's going on with 60 FPS, there were some complaints about that, it wasn't working correctly. They're aware of the issue, they're still investigating it, so it does look like it will get resolved, but not just yet. And they pretty much encourage players on Twitter saying that they're looking forward to see more 2 and 3 players get into Fenrir, as it just simply has been too hard doing it solo. Just an FYI, if you're expecting new content already, I don't know why you might be, but some people were certainly asking on Twitter, you're not going to get that till September. That's the mid-season update. I'm expecting, obviously, it's still going to be part of the Wolf Saga, but maybe there'll be a variation on the boss fight, maybe some new enemies, definitely new rooms, and obviously maybe some more new gear. We won't get a completely brand new boss though until November. So enjoy defeating Fenrir if you do manage to get it to it, and now hopefully they've made it a bit easier, but not too easy. The game is doing pretty solid on Steam at the moment. It's got over 30,000 at its peak, and it's still doing pretty good with around 20 to 25,000. Obviously though, the combined amount of players with PlayStation and Steam mean it's hit over 250k players in just over a week, or just under a week exactly. That's pretty good numbers. If they maintain that kind of progress, they could be looking at 1 million players within the next couple of months, hopefully. I think probably not 1 million players within a month. I could be wrong, I don't see the game maybe extending beyond kind of the numbers it's got at the moment on the Steam charts. But then again, with New World's delay, players are kind of scratching around now for another sort of 6 to 7 weeks of nothing really to play. And this is definitely scratching a niche for particularly people playing with multiplayer. Now I'm going to finish off this video pretty much by having a little look at Randy Pitchford. If you didn't know, the CEO, chairman of Gearbox, who are the publishers behind Tribes of Midgard. Now let's face it, all they've done is they've helped obviously give them a little bit of money to make sure they got through their development, they didn't have to do early access, and they helped them get the game on PlayStation and obviously physical copies. I don't want to belittle what a publisher does, but generally that's the consensus, that Gearbox relatively can be decent in terms of helping indie developers, other than maybe the cut that they take from each sale, which is quite a lot. But I saw this tweet from him the other day, and as usual, Randy Pitchford is some kind of dickhead. It's astonishing when we get emails from journalists and critics and influencers who spend 3 paragraphs describing how successful they are in hopes that will convince us to send them a free code. Sure, here's a code, but bro, Tribes of Midgard is like $20. Now, if you're not a content creator, you might well agree, well, you know, we've all got to buy our games, bro. But bear in mind the amount of free promo that gets given to these games by creators that have got no guarantee of getting any success. Even someone that got early access to the game like I did because I was friendly enough to the developers, I'd done a bunch of preview videos on the game, they could see I was serious about content creation for it, I still am struggling with some videos to get some views. It's only because I absolutely worked my nuts off to get all these videos done within the first few days that amongst the competition I managed to be a little bit successful. Now if I had to buy the game, would I have had that much success? Maybe, yeah. It's all usually about getting early access to a game. As a content creator that's been doing it a long time, I don't necessarily need the cash or the free key. I can go and buy whatever game I want, but it's definitely early access which is the most important to me. That said, it's still quite a lot of money. Even at $20, Tribes of Midgard's a pretty cheap game. You rack up how much of the favourite creator might actually spend on games a month. Some games that he might only play for one weekend at launch because they might be the hottest thing there and then they move on to the next one. Particularly multi-game creators like me. My whole channel was built on survival content, but that covers everything, console, PC. I can easily spend $1,000 to $2,000 on games alone in 1 year. Now some of that I do get as free keys, but a lot I still don't. I still go and buy, or I decide to buy it on multiple systems because I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, he's a bit of a dickhead. This was a dickhead comment to write. So many content creators will be promoting this game, helping increase the sales, showing the game off. The least they can be given is a free key. I did reply back and it got a few likes. There's definitely a bunch more of you guys that are in agreement. He kind of did get roasted by pretty much the whole of the gaming sphere. Especially when this guy is obviously rich, so $20 to him doesn't mean much. I guess when you spend all your money on cam girls, what's 20 bucks to buy a new game? Like if you own your own business, you're a carpenter, you have to usually pay for your own tools and then you charge your customers for the resources that you use to make whatever it is. In the gaming sphere, these keys are generated for free, particularly on PC. PlayStation and Xbox, they do come with more of a cost, so it's very limited on console about review keys. But on PC, you can have hundreds, thousands of beta codes generated. You still have a limit, but it's usually more than enough to get word out there, help promote your game more. And definitely is something that I noticed during the Discord creator channel they've got in Tribes of Midgard. A bunch of creators were asking all the way up until launch day and afterwards, and none of them got keys. I didn't even get a key from the website that I applied for. I got a key directly from the developers, Northville themselves, way before the game came out. Just to highlight and show how, you know, a bit stush that Gearbox were kind of being. I've noticed in the past as well for other games they've published, they haven't actually been that great with review keys, except when it came to Borderlands. I hadn't even covered that game at all, and I still managed to bag myself like an ultimate edition of the game when it first came out, Borderlands 3. It's a nice perk if you can get it, but don't ever forget that content creators, the good ones anyway, generate hundreds of hours of content sometimes and getting thousands, maybe even millions of views. So shut the fuck up, Randy. Northville, the developers themselves have been great. Obviously they're not owned by Gearbox, I don't think they are, just simply a case of doing a partnership with them. I hope they're not owned by Gearbox. But I do feel sorry for these developers when some big mouth CEO of their publishing company makes some stupid comments like these. Anyway, not to finish on a negative, I've really enjoyed my time in Tribes of Midgard. If you've been subbing, you've been watching for more content, there will be more coming. Like I said, I'm on holiday this week, so I've just been showing off some filler stuff, pretty much my adventures that I recorded a couple of weeks ago in preparation for a lot of the guides and tutorials. I will be back. I want to get to 100 days in survival challenge. That is my aim. And then hopefully it won't be too long before we get a big update, as I probably will take a break from it until September, until we get some new stuff as well. We get any big fixes, any big news about stuff, I will drop it to you guys first. And as always, like I said, home survival, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you ratbags later.